Welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity Meeting. This is a weekly meeting where we go in depth on things that will hopefully immediately start to help your business, help your mindset about your business, which all equates to growth and key metrics of the business, partners, revenue, client, income, etc. June 23rd, we've been talking about this for a few weeks now. This is this is not a very typical summer. You've got the pent-up demand from the restrictions and lockdowns from last year. People are wanting to do things. There's nothing that we can do about the macro environment right now. All that you can do is what we've been talking about, concentrate on what you control, which is just showing up, attitude, put it in the work, etc. It'll have some immediate impacts on your business, but even more importantly, when everybody's coming back late August, early September, trying to regroup, you have a springboard into that, and then more importantly, into 2022, because next 24, 36 months for our business vertical is going to be very, very active. So during this time, guys, discipline equals dollars, and it's hard not to get sidetracked. I mean, I'm already doing it too, taking off in the middle afternoon, taking my kid to the park, that's all fine. But when you're dialed into your business, be disciplined. So the hours that you are spending on your business every day, make sure you cut yourself off, get in a room, be able to concentrate and do things that are going to directly have an immediate impact on your business. Some things that you can do during the off time, the weekends, nights, mornings. Those are things that you should not be concentrated on during the kind of the meat of the day when it's great to contact people. Something that came up this week, if you are working with partners and they're brand new, the easiest way when they get stuck in a conversation and the easiest way to transition through a phone call is to start asking questions. Now, there's a big difference between going into a phone conversation and having to come up with those questions off the top of your head. That's a stressful environment. If you have those printed out or written down, it's very easy to ask those questions and remain in control of that conversation. So just because we don't know everything about our business yet doesn't mean that we cannot control that communication on the front end. So last week, guys, we talked about bull market in most every aspect of your business. That's important because we're firing on all cylinders. Understanding how to produce more sales volume, the buyer's journey to that actual decision of making that purchase, 14 power words in the sales language, creating contagious excitement about what you do, and a basic business plan for new partners in terms of their mindset. This week, we're talking about recruitment, and we're going to go into a multi-week series about this. This is important to revisit because this is how you build distribution. But also during this time right now with what's going on, there's never been a better time since I've been, building financial services agencies the last 5-6 years to go out and have the kind of conversations that we're having with people that are looking to make major moves in their life. I mean, 4 years ago, everybody was pretty much entrenched with where they were, what they were doing. It's a completely different ballgame now. And if you know how to maneuver around that in the right way, not pitching, not recruiting, not forcing, but just having conversation and communication and letting people talk, they have desires, needs, wants, goals. You have solutions. Those lead to action steps. Remember, great companies, whether you're doing it individually in the beginning or whether you've already got a small team built, we're all trying to make sure that we follow the pattern of hiring, investing, and advertising in our own business. You cannot get where you want to go without hiring quality people. Now, remember, it's not just hiring for the sake of bringing in a body. It's hiring for the sake of bringing in somebody that might have a chance with our training, support, coaching, mentorship, to actually have an opportunity to build, manage, an office or a group of offices. So the things that we do, yes, we want to concentrate on client sales, revenue, and income. But remember, the biggest growth is going to come from bringing in and hiring new qualified partners. First thing that you have to understand for yourself is what is your primary motivation in recruiting? Some people out there, they recruit people to sell them a product. I think that's an old, dead business model, to be quite honest with you. I recruit. My primary motivation for recruiting is a talent scout. I'm looking for people that I can bring in that fit into what I'm looking for, not trying to force the issue, but already fit into that persona that I'm looking for. And then it's a negotiation. This is what I have on my side. This is what I'm looking for someone like you to bring in. This is where we'll meet in the middle. And this is what will happen if we can both, follow through on our commitments. So the first thing that you have to do is, what's your primary motivation for recruiting? Because that's what's going to, develop around the plan that's going to bring you in those type of people that you're looking for. It's about people, guys, and you have to make sure that, whatever personality, whatever needs, whatever values, whatever you're trying to build within an organization, that person fits in that role, fits in that direction that you're trying to head. If you fail to get those aspects right when hiring, you're failing your business, because bringing in a lot of people who don't fit into what you're trying to do is a lot of work with little to no results. That's a very frustrating experience. That'll make somebody want to quit. And if you strip it down to its core, everything starts in the very initial beginning of those conversations. So the way that you lead, the way that you market, the way you start out a conversation, it has to be to develop that funneling to find the right people to continue the conversation. And the wrong people, no fault of theirs or ours, they just need to be taken out of the conversation in the early stages as quickly as possible. So who's going to suit the team? Who's going to rise up to the challenge? Who's behind our mission? Who understands what we're going to do? Because, the individual, the character of that individual, what they're trying to do, what they bring to the table is all very important. And that upfront process of sifting through people, you'll get better at it, and you'll start to understand how to read situations and people much more quickly, which makes this whole process much more efficient for you. And we've talked about this on both sides of the business before, but this is very important as you're recruiting, that you understand the person that you're talking to, not only in terms of their professional background, their needs, their wants, their goals, but also what generation are they coming from? Because a baby boomer probably has a pretty defined timeline of things that he or she is trying to get done. Millennials are a little bit more wide open. They're looking for freedom. They're looking for an alternate way to be able to do what they want to do and still have, a professional life with income coming in. So understand who you're talking to, because they have different views of the world and they have different immediate and long-term needs depending on where they are in the life cycle. If you want to build quality, the number one thing that we can do, and the number one rule of money, is to upgrade your network. So we always talk about this. You want to be talking to people that you might even find on the beginning stages a little bit intimidating, because if you raise yourself up to those type of people, you'll find the quality of the conversation, the quality of the potential candidate is where you want. If you lower yourself, then you're going to find that the exact opposite happens. So it's okay to become uncomfortable. In fact, that's a good place to be. It's okay to be fearful about a situation, but it's not okay just to shut down and paralyze yourself. So understand that these are all things that we all experience. Is how you digest it and how you move forward or decide not to move forward is going to separate you. The quality of the recruit is so important, guys, because like I said, just throwing people against the wall to see who's going to stick, that's a lot of work and a lot of, for not much results. When you bring in the right person and they fit into what you're looking for, not every one of them is going to make it, right? But when you fit into a persona and you're bringing in the right people, when we train, support, coach, mentor them, give them the marketing assets that we're building, they have a far better shot of going out and managing, an office or a portfolio of digital agencies, which brings that passive income into your side. So you're making an investment into that person that's coming into your organization. You have to evaluate it just like you would if I was, putting money behind an asset class, stock, bond, cryptocurrency, real estate. Is this a good investment? Because if it's not a good investment, you have that gut feeling, you need to move on. And if you stick to quality, this is a very important part of our model. If you stick to quality and bring in the right people, you're always that one recruit away from explosive growth. So you can see how this happens. If you're bringing in the wrong people, it's got an inverse effect or a reverse effect, because you're having to bring in a lot of people on the front side in order to find that quality. You're bringing in the quality on the front side, that's what's going to help you in your business model. So we talked about this very briefly, but there's a paradigm shift going on right now in terms of the mentality of many Americans, in terms of what they want, what they desire, how they want to live their life. COVID has changed everything. So you can't tell somebody, hey, don't come to the office, work from home, work remote, give them a taste of that and tell them, hey, come back to the office. This particular period is over. You can't do that. Once somebody gets a taste of a life they like, they're going to want to pursue it. That's where you come in. You have a legit opportunity for the right people if everything matches up. People are on the move, either voluntarily or involuntarily, and they're looking to take control and build a life they actually want. So this is what you're looking for. As those people are being called back to the offices, back to the brick and mortar traditional business models, you're looking for this person over here who says, no, I don't want that. I want something different. Now, that doesn't mean they're an exact great candidate for your business, but that means this is where a conversation would start right here, because they're looking for something different. Somebody's eager to return to that office. They like that lifestyle. They're great. That's what makes the world go around, but that's not who you're looking to talk to. So you have to understand that right here, right now, that the conversations that you're having need to be centered around what other people want. It's not about our videos. It's not about our products or services. It's really about talking about, hey, in your life right now, what's going on, good things, bad things. Is there something that you're looking for? Remember, if you give somebody an opportunity to talk, most of the time they will. And that information that you're going to get from that conversation where they tell you introduces problems, something they want to either, go to as a motivating factor or something they want to avoid as a demotivating factor. And that allows us to come in with solutions and action steps. If you're leading people to action steps, which you constantly should, you have to understand how to get to that action step. Doesn't go from hello to close. There's got to be that reason for your prospect to take that action step. And you have to ask, the questions, be curious. And this is one thing that some of you guys are really good at, the small talk. I'm necessarily not that so good at that. A lot of you guys are. So you need to take those strengths that you have and really go into the marketplace right now and just open as many conversations as you can based on, hey, how are things going? And just that basic communication and conversation of showing interest in other people. They will talk, trust me. And then it all comes down to really, if I'm, that prospect that you're looking to talk to, and maybe I was in some type of a model, I don't want to return to that. I've read a bunch of articles about this over the past, number of weeks, because this is really part of our business. We need to digest what's going on. And for a lot of people, there were people who, once they got introduced to the remote or virtual work, they bought a van, they traveled around with an internet connection. They're not willing to go back. So what's the escape route? Well, there has to be a plan. And that plan in our model includes entrepreneurship. And for a lot of people's answers for what they want, it's going to include entrepreneurship. Now, not everybody can be an entrepreneur, but the escape route a lot of times runs through entrepreneurship. But in order to make sure that we're talking to the right person, these are some things that you have to be able to read through. Is the person I'm talking to as a potential recruit, are they looking to go get paid by the hour or by the month or by the year on a salary, whatever it is? Because that person, going back to the cash flow quadrant, is trading their time for money. That's not something we do. We trade our time for results. So if they want a lot of what's happening on our side, but they're unwilling to make that crossover to trade their time for results, not much we can do for them. We're looking for people who understand leveraged income opportunities above the virtual freedoms that our business model allows us to have. So is this part of their vision? So when you're talking to people, you can't force what you're trying to do into a situation where it doesn't fit. Their vision has to line up with your vision, the company's mission. A lot of things have to align. And once you understand what you're looking for, how to identify it, how to open those conversations in a way that gets people talking, this business model and recruiting side is a lot easier than people really make it out to be. This is what most all of us want, right? We want lifestyle freedom, we want financial freedom, we want time freedom. But how do we get there? And that's the main point, or the main part of our conversation on the front side, because we can't just want these things. We have to want them to the point that we develop a plan of action, and then we execute that plan of action. Just looking at this stuff and saying, yeah, I would like to have this stuff, that's a wish. We're looking for people who are looking for these things, willing to take a plan of action, execute that, and give it time to compound. And then on the other side, they have their vision, they have what they want. And once you start to understand that, you have to understand that your vision is something that you're inviting people to follow you on a journey. You're not selling your vision. You're not forcing people to come and follow you, but you are inviting them to take a look at what I'm trying to accomplish over a 12, 24, 36-month plan. Does that excite them? Does it excite them the fact that we're trying to take the lead in this company with marketing assets, with the way that we approach people, with our sales presentations, the way we educate people? This is what I'm doing. I'm inviting people to come along on a journey that I think is going to be very profitable, but I'm definitely not forcing them. And that a lot of times comes back to, why am I doing what I do? And then secondarily, why does our organization do what it does? Going back to that generation breakdown, if you're talking to a millennial, you better have some type of a mission or some reason why you're doing this, because they were brought up and educated that everything has to have a backing or a mission. So when you're talking about what you do, yes, I have a personal vision. I have a personal why, but the company's also, and it goes back to its early days of why was this product or service invented. And then my vision is strong for the entire decade. And our products, our services will be around, but if you look at the time period that we're coming out of, which is ultra low interest rate environments, lots of stimulus, people getting leveraged up with debt. Now on the backside of that, you come through a deleveraging period where people are going to be looking to, not have so much debt, get rid of debt. This all comes to a perfect point for us to inject ourselves in the marketplace with a legit solution based on technology. And then on the other side, going back to recruiting, what does that mean for us? That means the business opportunity is extremely strong and extremely lucrative if you look at our career plan and our compensation path. So once again, the vision and the mission from both sides has to align in some way where, if we look at our organizational goals, really those are nothing more than a collective of a lot of individual goals who've come together to form a team. If you're bringing somebody in who doesn't fit into that, then you can bring not only somebody who ends up not making it, but they can be a disruption to what you're trying to build. So everything has to align, because at the end of the day, you're trying to pick out the right people in a digital environment where you're not interviewing them face to face, you're not meeting them face to face. You're trying to pick out the best possible people. So that all starts from the beginning, and it all flows through a pipeline where you're trying to kick people out that don't belong and get other people through the end of the pipeline. And remember, the partner persona, it's a lot easier to go out and identify what I'm looking for if I actually know what I'm looking for. So, this is built from both successes and failures in this type of a model where we're going out and we're trying to, have a client side and a partner side. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to get a lot of what you're not looking for. And that will help you start to form an idea of what you're actually looking for. And then, like I said, once you find those or have an idea of what you're looking for, it's a lot easier to go out with a message to these people wherever they are. A certain percentage of those people are going to raise their hands. And then don't force pieces that don't fit. That's the simple, easiest way to remember. If it doesn't fit into what I'm trying to do, don't force it. And as a recruiter, if you look at Coach K, college basketball has changed dramatically over the years. He's still able to recruit top talent. So you want to learn from somebody who's a great recruiter. And what Coach K says is, the work ethic, the desire to win, the desire to be part of a team. That's what we're looking for. So it's not the most talented people. Yes, we are looking for talented people, but they also have to have they have to submit, be humble enough to come in, be part of what we're doing, understand our mission, and still have a desire or hunger and to create that motivation to be successful. You've got to connect the dots during a conversation. And the easier it is for you to connect those dots early on, it allows you not to waste time with people that you shouldn't, and allows you to spend time with people that you should. For example, so if I'm talking to somebody and somebody has zero interest in building an online business, well, yeah, they could possibly come in and work as an inviter, referral partner, or whatever, but is that really somebody that we want to put a lot of time behind in terms of training, supporting, coaching, mentoring? That's an investment. Remember, time's a very valuable investment. It's our most valuable. So you have to make sure everything aligns. And sometimes that's as simple as making sure somebody actually wants to be online, building a digital or virtual business. And then secondarily, if that's the case and they do have interest in there, is it something that they want to come in where it's plug and play, predictable, profitable, or is this the type of person who wants to put their name on everything and start from scratch and just do it all by themselves because they're the key centerpiece of the business? If that's the case, that's not really somebody we're looking for. We're looking for somebody who understands that to be able to come in and just plug instantly into a model that's predictable and profitable, that's where they want to be. Recruiting can be a very, very, very frustrating experience. And that's why we're opening today with some basic overall overview of how to approach this, because people let you down. Sometimes people show interest, they disappear. All the normal things of marketing a business, either on the client or the partner side, still exist. But when you're going through recruiting, it goes a step beyond that because, once again, the investment of the time that you put in sometimes doesn't give you a return, or emotionally, it even gives you a negative return. So that all goes back to making sure that we identify who we're trying to bring in, why we're trying to bring them in, with conversations that make sense to allow those people into our organization. In order to be a great recruiter, you've got to have some things, challenge that conventional thinking. How do things look today? It's not going to be how things look tomorrow. So you want to stay ahead of the curve. Locate that hard to find top talent. And that's important because just because somebody has a successful business doesn't mean they would have zero interest in that. And that's one of the things that's really hard for people to understand. Successful people look for more streams of revenue and income. And then be good at what you do. Brand yourself, understand who you are, why you have value in the marketplace, and go out there and surround yourself with people who appreciate that. And then turn those passive prospects into eager candidates. Recruiting, just like anything, is about building a pipeline, hitting people at the right time, because 3 months later, we all know life can dramatically change for people. So you want to stay in front of the people that you're interested in, and the ability to leverage data to their advantage. Know what you're talking about, the ability to keep it current. So really quick, we're going to go through just the psychology of hiring, because this is really important. When you start to understand the mindset of what you're doing, the mindset of a lot of people on the other side, becomes easier in the sifting process. If you're, number one, upfront and honest. Don't bring people in on misconceptions, false pretenses. Be honest. And if that honesty drives them away, great, then you've done your job. I know that's, we all want growth inside of our organization, but it has to be the right type of growth. So be upfront and honest about what this really is, what type of work it takes. Told somebody on the phone the other day, when we were talking about, hey, there's a couple of different ways to build a business. You can do it organically with no money out of pocket, or if you have a marketing budget. If there's no marketing budget, you have to be willing to hit the phone and manufacture some demand for what you're trying to do. If you're not willing to put in sweat equity, you're not having any type of a marketing budget, well, you're just going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. No growth's going to happen. Calendar stays white. And then all of a sudden you're frustrated. Oh, this isn't working. And you quit. You got to find something that excites you about your business. Share that with people every day. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It changes from time to time. But remember, if you're not bringing any excitement, if you're not bringing any passion about what you do, you're real monotone and almost dead when you're talking to them, that's going to transfer over. Just like the excitement and passion transfers over, the lack of it also does. And if you bring nothing to the communication and experience, then they're not going to remember talking to you, anything about what you had to say. And that is basically just a dead lead. Listening, remember, is not just about waiting for your time to talk, but it's also about learning how to ask better questions. Because once you're finding those, motivation or pain points, you want to learn a little bit more about that. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Can you expand a little bit? Can you tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that statement? Remember, the more you get people talking, more information comes out, easier for you to come in with solutions and action steps. And then you also have to be able to understand and articulate to the other side, what is the ladder of success here? What is it that we're trying to do based on what you're telling me and based on what I'm telling you? This is what it would take to get where you're trying to get to. If you can't articulate how to get to where somebody wants to go, it's going to be hard for you to lead them to the next action step. So understand, listen what they're trying to do, and then be able to tell them what they need to do to get there. And then dare to ask for what you want. This is one of the easiest things, but also one of the most hardest things for people to do. Ask for what you want in the marketplace. This is what I'm looking for. It doesn't sound like this is really what you're telling me lining up at all with what I'm looking for. That's okay, but we need to go ahead and end the conversation. Best of luck going forward. I hope you find what you're looking for. And then answer each question fast. This is one of the things that we all should work on. The more you learn about the more that you learn about your business, the more you want to tell about your business. Somebody asks you a simple question, the next thing you've gone on a tirade, several minutes about who knows what. Don't give a lot of ancillary extra information. Answer confidently, answer quickly, and then move on. And then keep up, not keep up with conversations, but keep up with what's going on around you. Understand the environment. And like I was telling you guys earlier, the environment now, completely different from the environment that was 36, 48 months ago. So understand what's going on and understand what that means for your business. Now is an excellent time to be aggressive in this business model. And then be bold. When you're out there, be bold about what you do. Like we talked about, know what you want, ask for it, and go out there and market yourself. Not everybody's going to be appreciative of what you do in the marketplace. Not everybody's going to be accepting of what you do in the marketplace. If you are the type of person that needs to be accepted by every single person, you're going to struggle in this business model. If people are having a negative reaction to some of the things that you say, or some of the things that you post, if you're staying away from politics and religion and arguing with people, just going out there, challenging mindsets about financial literacy, how money works, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of negative pushback. That means that you're actually active in the marketplace. And understand our commitment. So this is one of the most important things when you're recruiting and maybe you don't have the back end infrastructure in terms of the people to help, the marketing assets, whatever it might be, you're bringing somebody into a flimsy organization. Our commitment is there. We've got things, we continue to build things. We will work with people if they're working. And that's one of the best things that we can offer: training, support, coaching, mentorship, because in financial services, that's greatly missing. And then the advantages, that kind of goes with our commitment. But what are the advantages of coming into an organization like us with what we've been able to accomplish over a little bit of period of time, where our mission is and where our vision takes us over the next few years? Understand how to articulate the advantages of coming into a situation that's really ready to explode. And then be able to look out in the future. So remember, if you're looking out with somebody 12, 24, 36 plus months down the road, you have to be able to be there in that moment, but also be there in that future moment, because one of the most important things we can do as recruiters is be able to paint that picture. So what does it look like 48, 60 months? Remember, we do this on the client side a lot of times with putting them there, accomplishing all their financial goals. Now you need to be able to do that with the partner side as well. What does it look like 36 months down the road after we built this, after you've been able to establish a virtual business that gives you the freedoms that you're looking for? Painting the picture is one of the most powerful emotional attachments that we can possibly give to the other side. Selling the dream, it's kind of cliche and kind of cheesy, but the dream is not yachts and Rolls Royce. The dream is whatever somebody wants that's in front of you. Sometimes the dream's not to show back up to the office. Sometimes it's not to have to commute. Sometimes it's to spend more time with my kids. Whatever that dream is, that's unique to the individual. You got to be able to sell them on the fact that you can help them accomplish that. Because ultimately what we're trying to do, and this is one of the most important things that I think I want you guys to take away from this presentation today, that you're not looking for that person that says, yeah, this sounds pretty good, I might give it a chance, might give it a try. We're actually trying to exit those people out. You don't want somebody who's semi-interested in what we're doing. Interest is not enough. We need a commitment. So through the process of what we're trying to do, the questions that we ask, everything that we do on the front side, we're trying to get rid of the semi-interested people, and we're looking for the people that are fully committed. Because when somebody's fully committed, they want to win, they've got the work ethic, they understand what we're doing, the mission, the vision, everything behind that. When you bring those people in, with our help, it's a lot easier to start to help those people 10x what they're doing, in their personal lives, their business life, because they've already committed to seeing this, from the beginning to the end point. Now you bring in all the exponential factors in terms of what we can do for the growth, in terms of being a nationwide distribution, virtual, We don't need capital or infrastructure. This is the type of person that you can bring in and really help accomplish their goals in a big way, which obviously, if they're doing that, that feeds into your business model and what you're trying to accomplish as well. And then just like, in client conversations, you can't just pause and just let the conversation end. If there's a reason to pivot that conversation and not terminate it, for example, if I'm talking to a potential partner, they love what we're doing, they understand the need for what we're trying to do, but they own a business, they got 4 kids, he's the baseball coach, whatever it might be, all of those things as a total don't allow any other time investment into anything else. That's a great way to take that partner conversation, pivot over to client services so we can extract value out of that lead that was created for the marketer, try to get them some revenue and income. Ultimately, what we always have to do is lead to an action step. So remember, even in those initial conversations, you're mentally thinking about, how do I lead this person, if they're the right person, to the next action step, whether it's reviewing materials, setting up the interview, whatever it might be. Always thinking about the action step that we're trying to lead them to. If you're not leading somebody to an action step, there's going to be a lot of conversations like a dog chasing its tail. Nothing ever comes out of it. And the next thing you know, you see this person on your calendar for the 16th time. And then finally, play the long game, guys. If you're trying to build something, just like a sports organization, if you're the last place sports team and you're trying to build something through your farm system or through the draft, doesn't happen overnight. Same thing here. Understand that if you're putting the pieces together, once those pieces are together and you have a championship team, you start winning championships. And in our sport, that's a lot of revenue and income, equity ownership, whatever it is that you're looking for. So that's all we got for today, guys. I hope that you found some value out of this. We're going to continue for the next couple of weeks on recruiting for the sole reason it's the important part of your business, but also the macro environment of what's going on right now with people on the move.